everybody? Back once again after almost a year of not being on, but MMA Ratings Podcast is finally back, and I'm here to talk to you about the sport of MMA. Of course, talk about other things too, like boxing, wrestling, football, basketball, whatever comes up, but always focus will be mixed martial arts. So let's have a conversation. First and foremost, you can always reach me at MMARatings.net. That's where you can find a lot of my pieces, a lot of the work that I do with Adam Martin and Michael Ford is there. You can follow me on Twitter at rgarcia_sports. It's where you can catch me talking about football, MMA, basketball, just about everything that's going on. Because sports is my thing, and I am well versed in many of the topics. So let's jump right into things today and talk about a couple of different things. We're going to look at the conversation of Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, my thoughts on the fight, some of the things that they've said recently, and why is this such a big deal to begin with. We're going to be looking at UFC Fight Night 88, which is set for this weekend. I believe it's the next UFC card coming up, but that is definitely a good event, a good card. From top to bottom, doesn't have any huge stars, but it's something worth watching. And then we will also be talking about UFC 199, the changes that have gone on with that card too, and then we'll answer a couple of questions that we've gotten for the week and close out the show. So let's jump right into things. Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Neither one of the guys needs any type of introduction. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather, 49, sometimes considered the greatest boxer of all time. That's what he would tell you. And definitely one of the highest grossing athletes of all time. And Conor McGregor, probably one of the biggest personalities other than Ronda Rousey in mixed martial arts today, are having a frequent back and forth in the media. And there are a lot of different talking points to bring up in this debate, but it's definitely something I find interesting to watch just because it's always interesting whenever mainstream media takes the time to cover mixed martial arts. So when the bigger outlets, because ESPN and everybody don't always focus on the sport. They give McGregor more than enough coverage. So it's always interesting to watch how they cover him, how they cover those different stories. But before we even get too deep into the conversation, I always want to put out there first, I don't think this fight is going to happen. There's no way on earth I think that this fight actually goes down because Mayweather and McGregor are not only in two different sports, but there are too many hurdles for this fight to jump, or this possibility of this fight to jump over before it even gets to come together. So, for example, who's going to get paid? Who's going to get paid? How are they going to get paid? Obviously, McGregor is contracted with the UFC. They have the rights to his performance at this point in time. So, as long as he's under contract with them, he cannot fight in any other venue. So, this is kind of like, I say Cam Newton, South Carolina Panthers guy. Cam Newton can't jump up and say, you know what? Since Denver beat us, I'm going to go play for Denver right now. You just can't do that. So that's not even a conversation point. This is very similar here. Conor McGregor cannot just up and decide that he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. He can say it. They can talk about it all they want to, but they can't leap for all of the legal hurdles that are in place and just set the fight up and get things down to go. Then you have the whole issue of Mayweather being who he is, and Mayweather is big about two things. He flexes a lot of control over his career, who he fights, when he fights, at what weight, what size gloves will they. Like he controls so many different aspects of his fight that I would rather see him and Dana White fight over control of this fight than even talk about it any further, because Floyd always gets the control when it comes to his fighting career. obviously, he stood the ground. He said that this would be a boxing fight, and boxing rules nothing to do with MMA and McGregor. Let's talk about being able to do that. But I can't. It took how many years for Pacquiao and Mayweather to get to the ring together? Most of it cemented around the idea of money and control of different aspects of that fight. So if that fight took that many years to come together, how on earth can we even think about a fight between McGregor and Mayweather being able to work out? I mean, Mayweather's 39 years old. He's recently retired. Even though he said that this is, this is it for him, that he would only come out of retirement to fight McGregor, I find it very hard, very unbelievable that he would be willing to let go of some of that coverage or some of that control and allow UFC to, on their side, they're equally about control too. UFC is adamantly against co-promoting fights. That's part of the reason why Fedor never fought in UFC because of what M1, what they want to do, and they want to co-promote the event that he's on. So obviously, that's out of the ballpark. The money team and Mayweather promotion would not be able to have that same type of leverage. UFC would not want to give them that same type of leverage or something like this. Obviously, this is a full story. You never know. Something may change. They may all be able to come together and sit down and have something out. I just don't see it ever happening. I just don't think that. I don't think that these guys will be able to come together on a business level to create this fight. And there's so many other circumstances that need to be discussed. That I don't know. I just think that I think it's always. I'm always about having general debate in sports, but this is just something that I don't ever see happening. And obviously, you have those MMA versus boxing conversation head, talking heads where they always want to try to compare the two sports. Personally, I don't think it's the best to try to argue which one is better than the other. Obviously, if this was a boxing fight, Mayweather's going to have years of experience over McGregor and just years of skill. The same way where this was an MMA contest, McGregor would be like a fish. Mayweather would be like a fish out of water, and McGregor was mashing. So there really isn't any point into having that whole conversation. That's why the rule sets exist, so athletes can perform within these rule sets. If you take one athlete from one rule set, throw him into the other, of course he's going to flounder when facing up against a premier athlete, as both these men are. So either way, that's not even the biggest interest point of this fight. To me, the whole thing stands around the idea of I don't believe it's going to ever happen. I don't see it ever happening. And there's just too many other issues that stand in the way of this fight coming together. But if it were to come together in some way, shape, or form, I think this would be probably the biggest event the UFC ever did, but it wouldn't be the biggest event Mayweather has ever done. He has these monumental paydays that he put together for Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez. He has those major paydays, which are some of the highest grossing revenue day sports events ever to occur. I don't see the inclusion of goodness against me. I don't see the inclusion of McGregor being enough to surpass those numbers. It would do a massive amount of money for the UFC because they've never even been able to bat an eye at Floyd's type of pay-per-view numbers, his type of revenue grossing ability. But this would be the biggest event for them in which they're involved in. But Mayweather, it would be a major payday for him, but I think it would still pale in comparison to what some of those other nights have been in the past. But until it's all swashed out and there's a final no on the table, Dana White, Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather are going to continue going back and forth in the media and continue having this conversation until media outlets like myself and like others to stop talking about it. So that brings me to our next topic, and we're going to talk about a fight that everyone was I don't even necessarily say excited for, but a fight that was going to occur and no longer is. We have Chris Weidman, who is now out of the UFC 99 fight against McGregor, and the different talking points when it comes to this situation. But first, let's just talk about the new fight that is being made, where Michael Bisping is finally getting his UFC title shot after 10 years in the promotion, I believe 25 fights. He's finally getting an opportunity to challenge for the middleweight title. Now, it came in a situation where I'm using air quotes where he may not have earned it, quote unquote, but it's coming at a time where it's right for him, it's right for his career. And I think this is kind of this would be a big moment for him. That being said, I don't see him winning this fight in any way, shape, or form. Him and Rocco fought in 2014, towards the end of 2014 at UFC Fight Night 58, where Rocco was able to basically embarrass. It wasn't even a competitive fight. He finished the guillotine choke at 57 seconds in the second round, but Bisping was never in that fight in any way, shape, or form. Now he's older and he's dealt with some since. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can. I doubt it will. I'm definitely picking Marco to hold on to the title, but it'll be a big moment for Michael Bisping to see him finally get a shot at the title. You never know. We've seen crazier things happen in this sport where someone put down victory where it's unexpected. So there's always that opportunity there. But seeing Bisping get this title shot after so many years in the sport, so many years in the UFC, and so many moments where he came close. If you look back over his career in promotion, it seemed like he was always getting to that point where he would be on the cusp of earning a title shot, but then would lose. Not back down to Rosso. Obviously, the first one came at UFC 78, where he lost to Rashad Evans. He lost a controversial decision, but that was probably the first time he was on the cusp of getting a title shot. You look back to 2009, he got knocked out by Dan Henderson and lost to Wanderlei Silva a few months later. He would go on to win 4 straight fights before that decision loss to Chael Sonnen at UFC on Fox 2. Then obviously we remember the Vitor Belfort defeat at UFC on FX7. Tim Kennedy, that wasn't a. I don't think he would have earned a title shot off of that fight, but it was still a big moment where people looked at it at that loss as maybe Bisping is on the downside of his career. And then obviously you have that bout that he dropped to Rocco. So it's good to see him come around full circle and get to this point where he is in a cage fighting for the UFC middleweight title. But again, as I said, I don't think he's going to win. I see him getting stopped again. It's just going to be a moment for him to reach a goal that he just hasn't obtained at this point. And then on the other side of the conversation, of course, we have Chris Weidman, who's once again out due to injury. Now, this man has had multiple injuries. It goes with, let's say, he's had shoulder injuries, knee issues. I believe he's talking about wrist problems as well. I know he had injured his rib as well. But what is most interesting about this here is that if you look at his Facebook post that came out the day after he was pulled from the fight, he talked about the type of pain he was going through with this neck injury, and that he was experiencing vertigo and having a hard time walking. Now, the first issue I have with this is if he was experiencing those type of issues, the fact that he tried to still fight is troubling to me because those sound like long-term issues such as that, but some of the athletes that have had neck issues across sports. Some of them are in very bad shape. You don't want to see that happening to any professional fighter, let alone someone who's dealt with so many injuries throughout his career. So, looking at this situation here, I definitely find it troubling that he was willing to still try to compete at this point in time. You have to be concerned about the longevity of his career as well. Because again, as I mentioned, he's had so many injury issues that now he's suffering through another problem that is continuously causing him to break down, continuously causing his body to fail over and over again, where he is just not in a great place. So what's next for Wiley? He's still relatively young, and again, I'm wondering how much of a toll he's going to potentially put on his body at this point in time. So he's out of UFC rolling now. He says he's going to be back. He's supposed to be back relatively soon. But again, what is too soon? How much time should he step away from the sport in order to try to get healthy and try to be physically fit and begin to fight? We'll see what happens. But right now, I definitely think it's best for him to kind of get this injury dealt with, especially when you look at how serious he described it. And so, we're going to also look at UFC Fight Night 88, where we have a number of fights that aren't necessarily big names in the sport, but they are definitely some good fights that I'm looking forward to watching. We have the main event where it's two undefeated guys going against one another with Thomas Almeida and Cody Garbrandt. I'm stoked for this fight, and I think what's probably the most interesting is I don't think this fight is going to go all 5 rounds. It's going to end in a stoppage for Garbrandt right now. But I just think that this is the type of fight that kind of showcases some of the younger talent in the UFC, and it's two guys who have quote unquote deserved opportunity to reach this position. This isn't a Sage North cutaway or Patriots and being pushed to the forefront very quickly. These are two guys who have been putting in work in the UFC and have reached a point where it's time to see them shine. You have Thomas Almeida, who's riding he's riding he's never been defeated obviously, but he's 4-0 in the UFC, riding a streak of 3 straight stoppages, going up against Garbrandt, who's a character in his own right, and just funny to interact with, funny to watch. He's also riding a 3-fight UFC win streak where he stopped 2 of the 3 opponents. So it's going to be an exciting affair. Neither one of these guys shy away from violence, shy away from the action. So it's a fight that for where it's being placed, it was on free television on a Fox card. It's definitely worth the time of day. Like I said, both these guys are still young. Garbrandt's 24. Almeida's also 24 as well. So it's definitely going to be worth our time and something that everyone should take the time to watch this coming weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I know more people are going to be looking forward to it, so I'm looking forward to that fight. But it's not even just that one. We also have Aljamain Sterling on the card as well, as he and Brian Caraway finally meeting. There's been a lot of back and forth between these guys. I'm not sure where the situation actually occurred, but from my understanding, Caraway and Sterling do not like each other at all, and they've just been going back and forth. And so now it's time to finally see these guys go. And I'm interested to see right now Sterling is listed as one of the Fight Pass fights, and this guy he's ranked, I think, in the top 5 in the division. I believe he's number 5. Let me just confirm. He's number 4 actually. So he's fighting the number 8 competitor in this division, and he is on the Fight Pass prelims. Now compare that to Almeida and Garbrandt, who are ranked in the top. Oh wait, excuse me. Almeida is number 7, and Garbrandt isn't even ranked in the top 15, and they're the main event. So this may go back to Sterling's issues with the UFC before he decided to attempt to use free agency to get more money for himself, which is what he should do. You know that he's 26 years old, 12-0. He's been stopping guys. He stopped. Let me see. In 4 UFC fights, he stopped 3, and these last 3 have been finishes. And he's beaten guys like Johnny Eduardo, Cody Gibson, and Takeo Mizugaki. So he's finishing ranked opponents. And yet you still see him sitting down on the Fight Pass position of the card. So again, I think this is UFC kind of flexing their control over him in a way that they've been doing over fighters in the past. But this is certainly a fight that's worth fighting, that's worth watching, and I think it's going to be very exciting. Probably one of the better fights of the weekend. Then you also have Lorenz Larkin and Jorge Masvidal. That's a fight I'm looking forward to seeing because Masvidal, even though I think he's still a better lightweight, fighting up at 170 along with Larkin, who I think Larkin was in an interesting position because remember he still has a win over Robbie Lawler, who is the current welterweight champion. So this would be a fight to watch as well. I'm definitely excited for what these 2 guys are going to do. Other than that, I'm definitely going to watch the event. I'm looking forward to it top to bottom. But those are the fights that jump out and kind of stand out to me as fights that everyone should be excited to see. Also, Tarek Saffiedine and Rick Story were supposed to fight. There's the news coming out now. Saffiedine's hurt his knee. He's injured himself once again. He may be getting moved from the card. The official word hasn't come yet. But don't be surprised if he is snatched from the card with 7 days away as the UFC tries to find something else to step in. And it's unfortunate because when Saffiedine came over from Strikeforce, he's someone that I was interested in seeing him compete. But he's certainly struggled since being brought in. Let's see, he's 2-1 in the UFC since coming in, but since 2013, he's only fought 3 times. He fought twice in 2014 and once earlier this year. He's been sidelined a lot by injuries. If he gets sidelined again, this is just another setback for him. And he's just 29, so he's still young. Forward to seeing him and Rick Story fight. I'm excited to see Rick Story's continue. Like he's kind of reinvented himself. He's letting people know he's not going to go away in his welterweight division, even after the way he stumbled, going all the way back to that 2011 bout. So I was looking forward to this fight, but it looks like it may be off the card. So keep an eye out to see what happens with this still developing story. So we're going to turn to a couple of questions that we were asked over the week. So let's see. So the first one is, should we believe the UFC sales story and what happens? Obviously, everyone's heard about the UFC the potential of UFC being sold. It first came out when ESPN dropped the story, maybe about 2 weeks ago. Since then, it's been talked about, but it's kind of gone under the radar. Hasn't really been mentioned since, but I think this is a story worth watching to see what the promotion decides to do. There's so many circumstances of this being a potential sell-off. Many people think that it's not going to be a complete sale, that it'll be a partial sale. There's that conversation, and there's also been talk about this being a partial sale to a Chinese organization to kind of help the UFC put their foot in that area, which hasn't occurred at this point in time. They haven't been successful with it yet. So yes, this is a story that people should watch. It is a story that people should get interested in whenever it's brought up. The business aspects of it, there's a lot of different moving parts that need to be discussed, but it's certainly something worth following up on and keeping a close eye on. The idea of a fighters association. There's a lot of talk about a fighters association. I'm actually working on a piece. I've been working on research about what would have to happen for a fighters association to occur. There's a lot of different talking points behind that, but it seems to be more and more that fighters are slowly taking steps towards that direction. Obviously, there's not enough effort behind it yet, and there's a lot of reasons why it wouldn't occur. So many different reasons the talk about as to why it would not occur and the difficulties behind it. But to hear fighters openly talking about it, openly presenting the idea to their employers, is going to be something worth watching. It's going to be something worth discussing, and I expect to hear more and more talk about it as this year continues on. Another question we got was about Sosa and Damian, Jacare Sosa and Damian Maia, who's the first one to get a title shot. They both, at UFC 198, they both put away two tough opponents in Matt Brown and Vitor Belfort, and they really cemented their position to be considered the number one contenders in their respective weight class. I think that Sosa is definitely closer to a title shot before Maia, even after Weidman was hurt. Sosa was the man the UFC went to first, but his injury that he sustained in that 198 blowout is going to keep him out of UFC 199. But the fact that the UFC was ready to give him a call was definitely shows that he's closer to a title shot than Damian Maia. However, I still think that it's interesting where Damian fits in the welterweight division, because right now Tyron Woodley is considered the number one contender. He's the next guy to get a title shot at UFC 201. But even people such as Matt Brown just aren't talking out or are speaking out about how Woodley should be the man to get that fight, and how there are other contenders who deserve to get that shot before him. So obviously we have a developing story to watch here. I think that Sosa gets the title shot first, but Damian Maia is definitely a viable contender in the welterweight division. So with that being said, we're going to bring this episode to a close. We talked about some very interesting topics here, and it's good to be back. Obviously the MMA Ratings Podcast was something that we've been working on. I'm looking forward to furthering developing this show and doing such things as monthly interviews, sessions, just more questions, more in-depth look into just, our views on how we see some of these stories developing across MMA. So again, check out MMARatings.net. You can be sure to catch all of the latest news there. You can also be sure to use the site to rank the fights. Right now, it's the only outlet that allows you, the fan, to give your opinion on what you thought of the MMA, Bellator, and UFC fights that are put together. It allows you to assess each fight via a starring system to basically say, hey, I thought this fight was a 9, I thought this fight was a 4, and share your thoughts. So definitely check out the site, MMARatings.net. You can follow us on Twitter, MMA Ratingsnet on Twitter and on Instagram. Follow me at rgarcia_sports, and be sure to send us your questions, thoughts, and anything else you got for us. Again, my name is Rafael Garcia, and I'll be back next week to talk about everything that's going on in the world of combat sports.